Happy Thanksgiving, everyone! Thank you for submitting your questions, and now it's time for me to answer them. I'm sorry if you didn't see it. I posted it on my community post this year because I didn't want to lose views because of the stupid YouTube subscriber burnout feature. Anyways, here we go. One Knock asks, how old are you and what do you do for a living? I'm ignoring that first one because it's personal, but I will answer what I do for a living. I work in a dish room at a high school. If I have a baker's dozen eggs that hatched and 3 ran away, how many do I have left? Nice try, but I know the answer is 0 because they all hatched. Do you have enough money for a comfortable life? I'd say so. Acid Ball Gamer asks, what franchise do you like more, Donkey Kong, Mario, or Kirby? Ranked from worst to best. I'd probably say my least favorite is Donkey Kong. While great, the only 2 games I can say I love are 64 and Tropical Freeze. My second favorite is Kirby and my first is Mario. Do you like 2D platformers or 3D platformers more? 3D platformers. What are the 3 best video game levels and why? Endless World of Yoshi's because of how beautiful it is, End's Castle because it's intense and a great twist on the normal Pokemon formula, and The World That Never Was because of the awesome scenery, cutscenes, and don't even get me started on the final boss. Here's a couple from American Catlover. What is your favorite Mario game? Super Mario Galaxy. Who is your favorite Nintendo character? I'd say either Link, Zelda, or Edelgard. What do you think of Samantha Kelly? She's Princess Peach and Toad's voice actor since 2007. I think she does a good job as Peach, but her voice as Toad is annoying. And Account asks, what's your favorite Pokemon spinoff? I'll either go with Shadows of Almia or Pikachu's Adventure. What's your favorite video game console? The Switch. What do you think of Scott the Woz? I don't know much about him. Xisca asks, have you ever watched game shows like Jeopardy or The Price is Right? If yes, what is your favorite game show? I don't really watch game shows that often, but I do remember watching Who Wants to Be a Millionaire with my parents when I was younger, so I'd probably say that. Though for some reason the ticking sound that plays after the participant phones a stranger, for some reason that ticking sound used to scare me, and so did that one sound that plays when they're out of time for the day. What is your favorite and second least favorite episode of Tom and Jerry? Second least favorite? I'd say the ones where Jerry tries to get Tom in trouble, since I like to root for Jerry and don't want him to look like a brat. But if I had to choose one, it would be Puss Gets the Boot. And that likely would have made my worst episodes of Good Cartoons list if Blue Cat Blues wasn't even worse. My favorite? I can't decide. But I did love ones like The Duck Doctor, Saturday Evening Puss, and The Flying Cat when I was a kid, so I'll probably go with them. What are your thoughts on Mario Party Superstars, and which board do you think is the most improved? I think it's a fun game, and I'd say the most improved board would definitely be Peach's Birthday Cake, because while it's still annoying at times, it doesn't look as preschooler-ish, though that's probably because of the updated graphics. The Flower Lottery is moved to after the Star Space, so getting stars feels a bit more fair, and the Last 5 Turns theme is much more awesome than the normal theme. Sounds almost Christmassy, and that's a win in my book. Andy Random Last Name asked, do you prefer morning or night? Well, I'm usually at work in the morning, so I'd say I prefer night. Anime Fanboy 2001 asked, what's your favorite and least favorite Sonic game? Sonic Colors is my favorite, while my least favorite is 3D Blast. Have you watched Clement J64? I think so. What video of yours do you regret the most? I'll probably go with how back in 2011, I made another worst cliches list, and it was so awful that I deleted it the day after it was uploaded because I complained about stuff like airborne enemies. Anup Sardesai asked, where did you get the inspiration for making this channel? I saw a lot of cool countdowns and I wanted to make some of my own. What is your favorite franchise? Pokemon. Who is your favorite video game character? Probably Sora or Edelgard. Now here's some from Aquageist. Do you normally play games on the lowest difficulty? To be honest, yes I do, because I want to be able to get through and experience the game and not get stuck at parts. So I do the lowest difficulty in my first playthrough and I try the harder difficulties later. What country would you like a Pokemon region to be based off of? I'd say Italy would be a really nice one, and maybe one of Norway. Favorite Fire Emblem unit? Edelgard, because she's my waifu. Barely Here asks, what do you think of Bowser Jr. and Kamek? I think Bowser Jr. is kinda lame compared to the Koopalings, and I have mixed feelings on Kamek. On one hand, he's one of those characters that you just love to hate, but on the other hand, he isn't as smart as you'd expect from a magician, for reasons I've stated in some of my videos. What are potatoes made of? I got nothing. Batmaster88 asks, why do you like Thomas so much? I tried really hard to stop liking Thomas because it's intended for little kids, but I eventually couldn't fight it. It just holds so much nostalgic value to me that I just couldn't stop liking it, especially after hearing that people have become more understanding of people who still like Thomas even as adults. Brian Strange asked, what do you think of Happy Tree Friends? I'm not interested in them. Are you happy that Trump is no longer president? Heck yes! Good riddance to that idiot! What's the best era for music? No clue. Cubsfan1111 asks, how much effort do you put into your Everything Wrong With videos? I make sure to keep them from being too long. I limit myself to 5,000 words, maybe a little more if I feel it's needed, and I do research on the parts where I feel I really need research. What was your favorite game growing up? Pokemon Sapphire. What game were you the most hyped for in the past 2 years? Sword and Shield, hands down. Daniel Carrero asks, what is your favorite and least favorite Kid Icarus Uprising weapon class? That's a tough one. My favorite is probably Claws and my least favorite is probably Arms. What is your favorite and least favorite Fire Emblem class? Another difficult question. My least favorite is probably Priest and Clerics in the older games because they literally can't attack. My favorite would probably have to be the winged units because of how far they can travel. Who is your favorite of the 3 Hoenn starters? Finally! An easy one! And I choose Trico. Now it's Dark Hour's turn. Did you ever watch a movie or play a video game that feels like a guilty pleasure? Well, I have seen some movies that I consider guilty pleasures like Shark Boy and Lava Girl, Monsters University, Can the Hat Live Action, the 2018 Grinch, Chicken Little, and Shark Tale. As for guilty pleasures on games, I'm gonna have to go with Paper Mario Sticker Star and probably Star Fox Zero. Do you avoid getting involved with communities of video games because of how toxic many of them are? I don't allow that to prevent me from playing the games themselves, but I do try to keep my distance from some of the people in these communities. From all forms of media, what is the worst cliche you hate seeing in them? Near the end, when characters seem like they're going to die but don't. It's so obvious that the character is going to live, and because of it, it's easy to mistake real death scenes for fake death scenes until it's too late to feel bad for them anymore. Duncan Stevens asks, have you tried playing Subnautica? If so, what are your thoughts on it? And if not, why not, and would you plan to? Well, it does look kinda cool with the whole underwater theme, but it still doesn't really look like my kind of game. Mainly because I'm more into Nintendo-style games. Did COVID affect you much this year? Have you been vaccinated yet, and did you have any effects? And I've heard there's been a lot of protests near where you live in the US against the restrictions. Did you see any? Were you affected by some mass shootings and riotings recently? Okay, here's my answer. Yes, I've been vaccinated, and the worst that happened to me was after the second vaccination where I felt nauseous after. And I haven't been affected by the mass shootings and riotings, though I think I might have heard of them. How's the burnout doing? You've sounded stressed and put out much less content, which is sad to see, but I hope you're starting to feel better. I'm still kinda burned out on countdowns, and I feel like I should only do them probably like once every few months. I'm getting tired of them, but if it makes you feel any better, I don't plan on quitting. Enrique Pizarro asked, do you think Azura, Edelgard, Lynn, Lucina, and Zinnia are cute and gorgeous? Well, that's kind of embarrassing, but I will say that they're great waifus. Why do people hate Azura, Edelgard, and Zinnia? I can't really remember their reasons for hating Azura. I think it's because they found her kind of bland or something, I don't know. As for why they hate Edelgard, this comment contains massive spoilers from 3 houses. Because she's a Flame Emperor and she's declared war across Fodlan for 5 years. That's understandable for people to hate her, but there are people who are stupid enough to accuse her of everything bad that ever happened in the game. And they even go as far as to compare her to Hitler. That's childish. And Zinnia? This contains spoilers from Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. Because she destroyed what the Moss Deep Space Center thought was her only hope of saving the world, because she was worried about some other world that it might doom. Imagine this, you having your power Kyogre as your mascot and commander of the seas. Next, your favorite girls of all time are commanders of the land, and finally, you are the leader that conquers the world with your allies and the commander of the sky. So do you like this idea? That does sound awesome, but when I think about it, I don't know if I'd do a very good job if the world was under my control. Eric Wijaya asked, what do you think of Catlover? I've heard about him a lot, but I don't know much about him. I might have seen some of his reviews, but I can't remember. Will you play Yokai Watch at some point? I currently don't have any interest in it. What top 10 ideas do you have in mind? Well, I'm considering making a revision to my top 20 Mario Witcher themes this year, and I have plans on making a list of the worst episodes of Back at the Barnyard, Fairly Odd Parents, and Pokemon. And a separate list planned for the worst Pokemon episodes of Generation 1. And I'm considering doing a hardest Zelda, Metroid, and Kingdom Hearts bosses list. Arrow Jevil asked, will you do a nothing wrong with video? I don't know if this is a joke question or not, and whether it is or not, I don't know how to answer it. Francisco Tapia asks, have you watched any TV shows recently? Well, I've seen the Pokemon anime, as well as Monsters at Work and SpongeBob. Are the Pixar movies Pixar made this decade so far better than the stuff at Disney, Sony, and Illumination? Well, so far we've only gotten 3 Pixar movies in the 2020s so far. So I'll just go with the one I thought was the best of the 3, which is definitely Luca. And while we don't have any Illumination movies yet this decade, since Sing 2 isn't releasing for another month unless you count its premiere at this one AFI Fest, so I'd say Pixar beats Illumination. But as for Sony Pictures, I haven't seen The Mitchells vs. the Machines, Wish Dragon, or Vivo, so I'm in no position to judge. Has anyone at HAL Laboratories confirmed that the franchise with the pink circle is over? Just so you know, that question was asked before Kirby and the Forgotten Land was announced. But even before its announcement, I called that they'd probably release a new one in 2022, since they seem to be releasing a traditional Kirby game once every couple years, and that the only reason we didn't have one announced until recently was because of COVID. Gardevoir Fan 1996 asks, what is your favorite and least favorite Skyward Sword dungeon? My least favorite, I'd probably have to go with the Skyview Temple because of the boring music. My favorite would be the Skykeep for reasons I explained in my last levels list. Who's your favorite and least favorite character to use in the original Hyrule Warriors? My favorites are Link and Zelda, and my least favorite is the Skull Kid, since instead of having chaotic powers be his main attack, he attacks by using an ocarina and fairies. The ocarina sound gets annoying, by the way. The last question contains spoilers from Fire Emblem Fates and 3 houses. Skip to this time frame if you don't want spoilers. Who is the better Fire Emblem final boss, Rhea on the Crimson Flower Path or Takumi in Conquest? I'll go with Rhea by a long shot, because it had a lot more build-up, not to mention it's the only route in the game where Edelgard, my waifu, doesn't die. Now here's 3 questions from Gavin Zallinger. Were you making everything wrong with Mario & Luigi Paper Jam? Oh man, after I sent Dream Team, a lot of people asked me to do Paper Jam. Yes, I will if someone uploads a no commentary walkthrough of it in 4K with no watermark. I still hope my video gets a decent amount of views, since that view stealer, Cherry5 recently beat me to it. Then again, my Dream Team video suddenly gained a great boost in views this past week, so hopefully I'm lucky. Do you like Dragon Ball Z? Okay, here's my death sentence. I have never watched any Dragon Ball related media. Unless you count scenes that people have shown in their videos, I just never got around to it. Probably because I think the animation style looks kinda uncanny. I do like the over 9000 meme though. Do you like Mario & Luigi Superstar Saga more than Mario & Luigi Bowser's Inside Story? I most certainly do. Hyder Baig asks, do you like Donkey Kong Country? Yes. Do you like SMG4? I have a love-hate relationship with his videos. His videos can definitely be funny at times, but they also feel like weird drug trips. Maybe that's the joke that he's going for, but the nonsensical style is kinda hard to take for me. I'd say his videos are good in small doses. Itzamii asks, what's your favorite Pikmin game? Pikmin 3. Can you play Miitopia at some point? I don't plan on it currently. Jacob Berger asked, is water wet? I know you're joking, but I don't know how to answer that without making myself look like I'm taking your comment too seriously. Now here's some from James Johnson. What is your favorite song from Walt Disney Animation Studios' Frozen 2? That would either be Into the Unknown or Show Yourself. Have you played any of my PowerPoint games under my username, Jade Johnston Industries, on GameJolt.com? I actually haven't. Pick the best looking Disney waifu and husbando out of Elsa, Anna, Rapunzel, Tarzan, Anna, Aladdin, Prince Eric, and Prince Adam. For husbando, I'd probably say Aladdin, and for waifu, definitely Elsa. Though Anna's a close second. JJ Slider asks, would you be interested in checking out the Dragon Quest games? I don't know. Some of them look pretty awesome, but I've only played the Switch version of the original this past spring, and it was painfully boring. There's almost literally no sense of progression, and it's even harder to know where you should go than in most older exploration-based games like in the original Metroid and Final Fantasy. Do you like playing extremely difficult games or doing challenge runs? I don't know about extremely difficult, I usually rage quit them. As for challenge runs, I can't remember. The closest I've come to that is beating Classic Mode Smash Bros. With certain conditions you need to complete in order to unlock certain stuff. If you had to pick another Kirby character to be your mascot, what would it be? I'll probably say King Dedede. I mean, I do prefer Kirby, but I'd say King Dedede would be a better choice for a mascot. Johnny Gallagher asks, do you like Godzilla? I embarrassingly haven't seen that much Godzilla-related media, but he seems pretty neat. Have you played any Resident Evil games? No. What's your favorite monster in a video game? Probably Kyogre. KB123 asked, thoughts on Sonic Colors Ultimate? Even though Sonic Colors is my favorite Sonic game as stated in the past, I haven't played this version. And I did hear this remake got bashed on by several people, so that gives me less of a reason to get it. What's the worst YouTube video you ever watched? Psycho Dad shreds video games because of how mean-spirited it is. And because it teaches parents that it's okay to abuse your children and make them cry. It just makes me want the Psycho Dad himself to get shredded. Ever played Mega Man ZX or the Zero series? If so, what do you think about them? I haven't played ZX, and the only Zero game I played is the first one, and I hated it because of how bland it was with its music that loops like every 4 seconds, and how it doesn't have as many cool abilities as its predecessors. I heard its sequels improved on that, but I'm not getting my hopes up. Kendrick Truong asks, will you play Fire Emblem Path of Radiance? I've already played it almost 8 years ago, and I loved it. Who's your biggest video game crush? I'm surprised you don't know. It's Edelgard. Have you played the Azure Striker Gunvolt games? No. Lakester's Wild World asks, what is your favorite Kirby game? Kirby's Epic Yarn. If you can get any video game system that you've never had, which one would you say? I'll say the PS5 so I can play future games coming out for it. Have you ever played Spark the Electric Jester? No, and I haven't even heard of it before I saw your question. Laura Guilemete asks, what's your opinion on the new Nicktoons All-Star Brawl game coming out? Well, it's already out by now, so I'll give you what my expectations were and what they actually ended up being. I was kinda pumped for it because it would be neat seeing a Smash Bros. Style game with Nickelodeon characters, but I was also worried it would turn out bad, considering how I've heard Nickelodeon had been really stupid nowadays. As for my opinion on the game, it's kinda meh. Maybe it's because SpongeBob and Denny are the only 2 shows represented that I actually watch, though I did watch a bit of Rugrats, Hey Arnold, and Cat Dog when I was younger. Aside from your top 10 Killjoys list, what is your least favorite countdown that you have made? My 2011 Hardest Bosses revision. One word. Boring! What is your favorite and least favorite Everything Wrong With video you've made? My favorite is probably either Partners in Time or Santa Claus is Coming to Town. Least favorite? That's a difficult question because I think I did a good job on all of them. Maybe my Here Comes Peter Cottontail video because, while it was good, I made some pretty stupid mistakes like when I said that Peter successfully gave away his eggs to the ghosts, even though he obviously didn't, only to Esmeralda. And And there are also some points I could have made, such as Antoine, despite telling Peter that he shouldn't lie to people, was the same one who gave him the idea to pass off Easter eggs as 4th of July eggs, Christmas eggs, etc. Limbo Fazframe asks, do you plan on doing CinemaSins parodies of other PS2 games? I plan on sending Kingdom Hearts 2, even though I'm doing the PS4 version, but they're mostly the same game, so there's that. And ever since I said Nicktoons Unite, people told me that Battle for Volcano Island was worth playing, so if I decide to get that game, maybe I can do that one. There's a chance I might also do some other SpongeBob PS2 games, but who knows? Any more top 10s in the works? My top 20 Mario Winter themed revision. Here's some from Lori Taylor. What are your rankings on the middle evolutions of all 24 Pokemon starters? Man, this took me a while to think of. I'll say it in this order from least favorite to most favorite. Crocodile, Drizzle, Pignite, Quilava, Chiladin, Torracat, Prinplup, Thwacky, Charmeleon, Brightson, Combuskin, Dartrix, Wartortle, Frogadier, Monferno, Duat, Bryony, Bayleaf, Ivysaur, Grottle, Raboot, Marshtomp, Servine, and Grovyle. Thoughts on the special episode of Explorers of Sky's Future of Darkness story-wise? I've seen it in Dynamo Jono's Let's Play, and it seems interesting. Thoughts on Luca the Pixar movie? I think it's one of the best movies to come out of this year. Lucariobot asks, why did you start doing CinemaSins parodies on this channel? Because I saw CinemaSins videos and was inspired to do so. M4TYU asks, what's the strongest Pokemon in terms of debuffs? I don't know what you mean by that. I would have asked you, but I can't find your comment now. I tried asking on one of your videos, but you never responded to it. Master Marx asks, what is your favorite Kirby ability? Probably the UFO. Who do you want to be the final DLC character for Smash Ultimate? I wanted it to be Sora. And sure enough, my wish finally came true. What's your opinion on Jellystone? I didn't even know there was a Yogi Bear reboot until you told me, but I did see a trailer and I honestly don't know what to think. MC Sonic asks, what is the legitimate fear that you have that some people think are stupid? Worms kind of freak me out in real life. I don't know what it is. It's probably the combination of the way they move combined with how they don't have faces. What is the scariest place in the video game? Queen Vanessa's Manor from A Hat in Time. What is your favorite console/handheld? The Switch. Now here's some from Mikah Cariglio. How are you convinced to play Shadow of the Colossus? I don't know, I just heard Alex Roshan talking about it and I just randomly decided that maybe I should play it. Ever considered playing Dust and Elysian Tale? I don't think I have. Hardest champion in the Pokemon series in your opinion? Does Red count? If so, then him. If not, then I'll probably say Alder for being in the level 70s by the time you finally reach him. Naayle Alikhan asks, what are your thoughts on Nathaniel Bandy? I used to be subscribed to him until he started acting like a greedy idiot and throwing random ads in. Not the YouTube ads, but just random ads he made. I understand he's doing a sponsor, but would it kill him to put them at the beginning or end of the video instead of at random points in the video? It's extremely jarring. Were you doing everything wrong with Hotel Mario? Well, it wouldn't be fair to do one on a game I haven't played, and everyone says it's the worst Mario game ever, and I haven't heard a single defensive argument towards the gameplay, so don't count on it. What is your favorite and least favorite villain? Warning, spoilers from Pokemon Sun and Moon. My favorite villain is Lucamine, and my least favorite is Xande. Now here's Nate Clone's question. How much of the Pokemon anime have you watched currently? I've seen every episode of the Indigo League, Orange Islands, Diamond and Pearl, and almost every episode of Black and White. I've seen several episodes of the other 4 generations, but I still have a long way to go for each of them. I plan on watching them so I can catch up on them, and so I can make that worst Pokemon episodes list I previously stated in Eric Wijaya's question. Person asked, do you know what Terraria is? I've seen gameplay, but it doesn't look that interesting to me. Are you a fellow Chugga enjoyer? Yes, I love Chugga Conroy's content, though I'm tired of his Xenoblade 2 Let's Play, and I'm ready for him to finally get started on a new one. Pink Sheep 752 asked, why did you do the remix of Super Star Saga and Bowser's Inside Story instead of the original games? Because I felt it would be more relevant. Platy asks, do you ever plan on playing Doom? No, I'm more of a Nintendo gamer. Have you seen any Studio Ghibli movies? Only Kiki's Delivery Service. My sister and I used to watch that movie every once in a while when we were kids. Do you think Nintendo games are overpriced? Well, I make a lot of money at my job, so it's a small price to pay. But yeah, I won't deny that they're overpriced. Rowan Akamiya185 asks, what do you think of my drawings on DeviantArt as of late? Do you think they're good or are they still, as you say, passable? I'd say they're better. Don't know if I can really judge if they're actually good now because I'm not a very good art critic. What do you think of Bascule Legion? It does look like it'll be much more useful. I just hope it finds its way into the main games. How bad is my grammar spelling in this question? I don't get the joke of that. But if you really want an answer, here you go. I'd say it's about as good as Nomura's brain. Sejo Diamond asks, what do you think of the handheld Mario Golf games? I have no real interest in them because I see them as no more than just golf with a Mario twist. I do think some of the victory poses in World Tour look awesome though. Have you played Mario Hoops 3-on-3 Slam Basketball? No, I haven't, for very similar reasons. That's why I haven't played the Mario Golf games. What do you think is the worst, fanboys or haters? I'll probably have to say haters, because I personally think that people not allowing me to hate games is not as bad as people not allowing me to enjoy games. Now it's time to answer Shannon, Pokemon, and Kirby Fangirls questions. If Nintendo did make a Fire Emblem Warriors game for 3 houses, what characters would you want to be playable? Well, since Edelgard and Byleth would be pretty much a given, I'd say we should get to play as Dorothea, Sedith, Manuela, Eloise, Hubert, and since we didn't get to play as her in the actual game, maybe I could say Rhea too. What's a video game soundtrack you find yourself listening to the most? That would be a tie between Kingdom Hearts 2 and Fire Emblem Three Houses. Next up we have SMG31 and Galactonite. Why do you prefer Paper Mario Sticker Star over Super Paper Mario on Paper Mario the Origami King? Because Super Paper Mario has atrocious level design that involves way too much aimless wandering because there are so many rooms where everything looks the same, and Origami King's battle system has extremely repetitive gameplay by making his battle system into a glorified minigame that you have to play like 1,000 times. Somnom Woods asks, do you plan on sending Sticker Star Color Splash on Origami King? Yes. What inspired you to make Everything Wrong with videos? CinemaSins. How do you choose which games you send? I usually do games from my favorite franchises. I'd say the regular customers for my Everything Wrong with videos are Mario, specifically the RPGs, Zelda, Pokemon, and Kingdom Hearts. And sometimes I just send games because I want an excuse to talk about something in them that I don't like. Swaglord1000 asks, will you ever do an Everything Wrong with any Sonic game or Pokemon Mystery Dungeon? I probably have no real need to do the Sonic games since pretty much everything I need to say has already been said by other Everything Wrong with video makers, except for this. I think the Chao Gardens in Adventure 2 are overrated because they completely break up the pace of the game. Granted, I haven't played them, but why should I? Granted, I do plan on maybe seeing Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog someday. As for Mystery Dungeon, part of me feels like it, but if I do Rescue Team and Explorers, I'll probably get comments pestering me to send the rest of the Mystery Dungeon games, and I heard that they aren't any better. What is the worst game you have ever played? Final Fantasy III for the DS. Tech Muse asks, favorite Pokemon? Kyogre. Opinion on the new Mario Golf game? I don't play them since I just see them as golf with a Mario twist. And the victory animations don't seem as cool as in World Tour. What is wrong with these lazy morons? Favorite Mario Party game? Mario Party 9 because mini-stars feel like a much better reward than coins, since coins barely matter if you can't get to the star to spend them. Next up is Tess McGrath. Have you watched The Loud House? No. If you could give any game a sequel, what would it be? Either Ice Climbers or Klonoa. Ice Climber because it only has one game in the respective franchise, and that being a really outdated game, so it would be nice to see what they could come up with for a new Ice Climber game. And Klonoa because that series is a classic that really needs to come back. Who do you main in Mario Kart? Mario. That guy who likes booze asked, what is your opinion on the upcoming Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl games? So far, I'll say it's too early to judge. It is fun going through the Sinnoh region again. It at least brings in some improvements from Generations 5 and on, which is a very welcome sign since I was worried they wouldn't bring in that many. And I'm glad this remake's nowhere near as slow as its original counterpart, but the bike controls are horrible, it has little to no platinum references, and the graphics are just lazily done. Thank goodness the graphics in the battles look decent. The BB78 asks, have you ever done Smash Bros. Tournaments? I've done 7 Smash Bros. Melee and Brawl, though that was with computer characters. But if you're talking about online tournaments, then no. The Black Shadow 387 asks, who do you want in Smash Bros. The least? I would have gone with Tingle, until some brainless stunts working with Nintendo got drunk and made a stupid twerky character. Seriously, no one wants to see that disgusting thing. I still can't get over the fact that Nintendo was actually stupid enough to make someone that disgusting. So yeah, Twerky is my #1 character I do not want in Smash Brothers. When do you plan on making more reviews? I don't know, probably when I feel like it. It should hopefully be before next summer. What do you think of Automatones? Don't know anything about that. The Great PM1 asked, do you watch anime? Well, I have seen the Pokemon anime, and I've been meaning to watch Sonic X, Kirby Right Back at Ya, Card Captain Sakura, and Fairy Tail. Though with the latter, I heard it probably has some sexual imagery in it for something rated PG-13. And if it does, then I might need to think about it first. Have you seen SML Freeze Flame 22? I've seen some clips of SML and Rowan Akamiya185's YouTube poops, and on my friend WRJ's movie spoof videos, and they seem pretty funny. I'm wondering if maybe I could give them a watch someday, but I'm mad that he can't use Mario characters anymore. As for Freeze Flame 22, I don't watch him. I think he might have left comments on some of my videos before though, unless I'm thinking of someone else. Have you seen Undertale on Friday Night Funkin' and their fan bases? I've seen the Undertale fan base and they're really annoying at times, but I've heard that they've calmed down. With the exception of how when Sans' announcement happened, how it was the only thing everyone talked about, not about Terry. Even as someone who knows nothing about Terry or his games, I still find that strange. As for Friday Night Funkin', I currently don't know much about it. The Greeny Tripper asked, do you watch Natural Rad? Not very often. I think I might have seen some of his reviews though. Do you think Final Fantasy VII is as good as everyone says? Ignoring the backlash, of course. I'd say I think it's an awesome game, but not quite as good as everyone says, because the graphics make it hard to tell where you can and can't go, and the first hours are just plain dull. And yet for some reason, Nomura decided that should be the entirety of the remake. The first episode at least. What's your favorite and least favorite Harry Potter movie? For favorite, Prisoners of Azkaban. for my least favorite, while I don't hate any, I'll go with either Order of the Phoenix or Half-Blood Prince because they're the two that I remember the least about. The Super Shiny Mega Gengar asks, out of all Final Fantasy villains who aren't Kefka or Sephiroth, who is your favorite? Well, since I don't remember much about Ultimecia since I don't care about Final Fantasy VIII, I'll probably say Golbez. Is Kingdom Hearts 3 coded as bad as everyone says it is? Yes and no if that makes any sense. Yes, because the game is really dumb. But no, because the HD 2.5 cutscenes are actually pretty cool. Tony Sonic asks, what are your thoughts on Paper Mario the Origami King? I didn't enjoy it as much as I should have. I feel like I really should have because, as I said in my 2020 games list, it answers my prayers of finally giving us a non-Bowser villain and got rid of the stupid Kamek feature. But I just can't get past the unbelievably repetitive battle system. Making the battle system a minigame makes it easier to get tired of than giving it a normal battle system. Do you think the new Sonic game will be good? I hope so. I'm a little nervous about it since the last great Sonic game we had was Sonic Lost World. What is your favorite game of all time? Pokemon Sun and Moon. Trevor Wu asks, what is the worst fanbase you've been a part of? I'd say the Fire Emblem Three Houses fanbase, because everyone thinks it's cool to constantly bash on me for liking Edelgard, and they actually compare Edelgard to Hitler. Again, that's childish. What's your opinion on Trump parodies? I usually try to stay as far away from Trump-related stuff as possible and only bring him up on rare occasions, so I don't watch any Trump parodies. Though I think I once saw an episode with Alec Baldwin parodying Trump. If you lived in a world where Meta Knight was president, would you vote for him? That's a tough one. Even though I do love to use him as my mascot, I don't know if I'd really trust him to be president, since even though I consider him a hero, he has been a bad guy before. User1 Campbell asks, are there any video game franchises you're planning on trying in 2022? Well, I have tried new franchises every year since 2007, so you can probably expect that. As for what they'll be, I'll probably guess Bug Fables, Meow Motors, and maybe Alice Madness Returns. Vincent Mariscal asks, what games are you excited about this year? Well, pretty much every game I was looking forward to was already out by now, so I'll just say what my thoughts were when you asked this. Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl, even though I played that game and it's kinda meh. Metroid Dread, Mario Party Superstars, Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, and maybe Advance Wars Reboot Camp, even though I haven't played the last one. Waffle Kingdom asks, favorite Mumbo or Wumba transformation in Banjo-Kazooie and Banjo-Tooie? The B. Favorite partner or pixel in the original Paper Mario trilogy? I'll say either Bo, Goombario, Vivian, Bobbery, or Yoshi. Who will your channel mascot be if it weren't Meta Knight? I'll probably say Sora. Heck, I might even change my mascot to him to celebrate how he finally got in. Just as long as you guys are okay with that. Now here's a question from my friend WOJ. Are you interested in checking out My Hero Academia? I'm considering it, and even my sister's been considering watching it. What Disney movie would you like to see a sequel of? Good question. I'd love to see a Zootopia sequel, as long as it's not a cash-in sequel like Ralph Breaks the Internet. I also wouldn't mind seeing an Alice in Wonderland sequel, as long as they actually put effort into it. And I heard the original Alice in Wonderland book had a sequel, so there's some potential. Which Mario character do you think would make a fun new character in Mario Kart? I bet it would be nice to see Fawful, and maybe Prince Peasley. XX asks, will you ever try the game Bug Fables? If so, could you maybe go over it and make it everything wrong with? Why yes, I'm considering giving it a try, maybe this next spring. And I'm also thinking of doing an Everything Wrong With video on the game, if I'm interested. Anytime you might collab in the future? Yeah, I'd like to collab with someone in the future. Maybe Kiatsuki4013. What's your favorite Mario and Luigi RPG? Partners in Time. Here's 2 questions from YouTube Social HD2. Did you see the Loud House movie? No, I haven't. In fact, I haven't even seen the show. What do you think of WarioWare Get It Together? I don't play the WarioWare games, but at least this one has a decent amount of new cutscenes, though I wish it had as much as WarioWare Gold. And I will say that Teeth minigame looks very disturbing. And our final questions are from Z Pokemon Fan A. If you could promote any assist trophy to a character, which would it be and why? I'll probably say Shovel Knight because it makes sense for a character from a game this popular to get in the game. If you could promote any Pokemon to a character, who would it be and why? Zoroark because we don't have a Gen 5 representative, and Zoroark would have made the most sense because he's basically Unovan Lucario. If you could promote any current Miifire outfit to a character, who would it be and why? No contest, Shantae by a long shot because she's just really awesome. And that about wraps this Q&A up, so happy Thanksgiving everyone, and as always, I will see you all in my next video.